Hey, what's going on? What's going on YouTube? It's Carl. I'm back with another video. Just want to give you guys a quick update on my basement gym. So on one of my earlier videos I posted, this small room here used to be my entire gym. So I had my Titan T6 rack in here, had a bar holder in that corner. It was cramped, but it worked. But since then, I renovated my basement, tore up all the carpet, put down stall mats everywhere, and now this small room that used to be my entire gym is now just my cardio room. So in here, I have a Concept 2 rower. This is the original Model D rower. You can tell it's the original model because it doesn't have the little cups underneath the foot plates. And as you might know, the original Model D comes in only white and blue, but what I ended up doing was replacing all the old white and blue parts directly from Concept and just buying the black parts and putting them on. And then for the main arm, I just covered it in black 3M vinyl. And then for the monorail arm, I just ripped out the old vinyl that was in there and put in that camouflage vinyl on both sides and put some black vinyl on the bottom to cover up the blue. I also replaced the seat that came with the rower. I got off of Craigslist and it had an old tractor seat on there and it just didn't look good and wasn't that comfortable, so I went and got a original seat from Concept. So the only original parts that are left on here is the handle, the monitor arm, and the monitor. So I might end up upgrading from the PM3 to the PM5, but I mean the PM3 is more than capable. It tracks everything that I'm interested in, tracks calories, distance, time, things like that. So it definitely suffices for now. Another piece of cardio equipment I got is this Airdyne bike. I got this for about $300 off of Craigslist. That's definitely on the higher end side of Craigslist prices, but I feel like I got a good deal. This is one of their newer models with the black cage and the newer monitor, and it barely had any use on it. It still had some of the original tags on there, so I think it got a pretty good deal on it. If you are interested in getting any kind of cardio equipment for your basement gym, if you have the room, I would definitely recommend getting a rower off of Craigslist. If you don't have the room, get an Airdyne bike, and both of these machines will kick your ass in any kind of sprint session, interval session. So yeah. Moving from the cardio room to the main room, I have out here my Titan T6 rack. I also have the Titan monolift arms. These are great for benching and squatting. I have a pair of the safety straps. There is a recall on these, but Titan did send me an email and told me that they're going to be shipping me a brand new pair free of charge, so there's nothing I need to do. Just wait for the new pair to come in. But until then, I mean, these haven't failed on me yet, and I will do rack pulls off of these with well over 500 pounds, and the stitching is still good. So I'm still going to use them, but I'm not going to like rely on these for heavy squats. I'll probably use these spotter arms for that. But things like, rack pulls, if the strap fails, I'll just drop the bar and, won't be injured. I got these weights off of Craigslist. Got my bands back there if I want to do band work. I got my towel, of course. Can't have a gym without a towel, and my squat belt. I also have a pair of the Titan landmine attachments, but I barely use those because I've got these little attachments instead. So these go on your safety spotter arms, and they work just like landmines. So basically, the good thing about it is, one, if I want to do things like T-bar rows, I just keep my safety spotter arm low. But if I want to do things like Viking presses or hack squats or calf raises, I can just raise my spotter arm higher, and that will raise the fulcrum on the lever, and that way I can do things like seated Viking presses or hack squats and things like that. So I also have more room in my gym going this way rather than that way, so these landmine attachments only work in one direction. And also on the T3, the holes for those attachments are on down at the bottom. So I'm not sure if they've updated this with Titan where they have holes going all the way up the top, but you only have 4 holes down there on each side. And so if you want to use the landmines for things like Viking presses, then the fulcrum stays low, which means that the weight is not as heavy as it could be if the fulcrum was higher. So I like using it on the spotter arms, raise the fulcrum up higher, and that way when I do my seated Viking presses, the weight feels heavier. So I have some other attachments. I got my T-bar row attachment over there. Got the Titan wide dip attachment, Viking press attachment, ab wheel, bar pad for things like hip thrusts or sissy squats, things like that. I have some kettlebells down there, a weight scale down there, and also some push-up pads. Got my speakers over there when I want to bump any kind of music that I want to get hyped to lift to. Got my bar rack on the wall. I have a safety squat bar from New York Barbell. This fat axle bar is also from Titan. Got that for about $50, brand new. I talked about these attachments before. I use these for things like overhead presses, standing overhead presses. So since I have low ceilings in my basement, I can't really do standing overhead presses with the weights sitting on here, because if I raise bar over my head, it's just going to bang into my ceiling. So with these, the weights sit low below the bar. I press it over my head, and I have plenty of clearance so that the weight doesn't hit the ceiling, and I can do overhead press, standing overhead presses. The only drawback is that these will wobble, so you can't go as heavy as you would like, but I think, adding that wobble also helps you learn how to stabilize your core and your shoulders and things like that. I have some old cat barbells. This one is my workhorse. As you can tell, it's pretty rusty. It used to be black, but now it's kind of rusty, but it still works, still straight, still holds weight, so I still use it. Then I have this other bar up here. I only use this basically if friends come over and I need another bar, or if I'm doing things like supersetting rows with bench pressing, then I'll have both bars. And then I have this Easy Curl bar that I got off of Craigslist, pretty cheap. So moving on to the other part of the gym. I like having this wide open area here for things like burpees or any kind of plyometric workouts that I want to do. I have some squat stands that I got off of Walmart for about, $60 total. So when I'm doing overhead presses, I'll move these out and put the bar in these squat stands and lift them up out of the bar. Also, if I'm working out with a friend, if one of us is doing benching, one of us is squatting, then we're not both tying up the rack. I also have these plyo boxes. I use this for things like step ups. I also use it mainly for seal rows. So basically I'll set these up in the rack, place the bench on top of them, and then I'll either grab a barbell or some dumbbells and just roll the weight up. I have some extra stall mat pieces. I use these for things like calf raises or deficit deadlifts mostly. Then I also got these cable crossover arms from Titan. I got 2 of them, and I set them up as like a makeshift ad hoc cable crossover station. So my first video, I said that I was gonna end up getting rid of this bench, but after I got these cable crossover arms, I decided to keep it, and I'll do things like seated cable crossovers, incline cable crossovers, and it's worked out pretty well. You can do all kinds of exercises. I highly recommend getting these if you have space in your gym. I would also recommend bolting them into some studs because they will wobble, especially if you add, a substantial amount of weight on there. Another thing I would recommend you do is secure these front legs. I use just some Gorilla Tape, and that takes care of that. I also have the Titan dumbbell stand. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about any of the equipment I have in here. I'll try to answer them down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. Peace.